Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Moon Colony live stream. I nearly tripped over my words there. Happy Friday. We are bang on the weekend. After this stream, it is the end of the workday for me at least. I don't know about you, Rin, how long you're going to go on for, um, but yeah, we're here with Rin today, and we're going to be doing some portfolio reviews. So, how are you? How are you, Rin? You okay?
Hello. Yeah, I'm alive.
Yeah.
I'm alive and glad to see everyone. It's been a while. It's been
It
a while.
has,
Yeah.
yeah, it has. So we've taken some of the submissions from the Discord. So we opened up submissions about a week ago, I think now, and we
Mm.
got loads of amazing portfolios to look at. But unfortunately, we can only look at maybe 5 or 6. So we'll see what we can get through to. See if we can break a record. But before we get started, obviously this is our sort of free portfolio reviews, so we can only give sort of quick bursts of information, maybe about 10-15 minutes per, whatever. But if you like Rin's feedback and you think, oh, maybe I want Rin to take a look at my portfolio, and you don't want to risk, losing the lottery of the Discord submissions, you can actually go over to Lunar Academy and you can pay for some of Rin's time, for an hour of Rin's time, to take a look at your portfolio, get a nice review from her, maybe get some tips on where you can improve. Um, and yeah, that's on Lunar Academy. And segueing into that, we're actually having a Halloween sale on right now, which covers all of our courses and the portfolio reviews as well. So that's 30% off the 3 current courses that we've got on there. So that is digital painting with Leonie, creature design with Melissa, and Arthur's short course bundle. So it's 30% off of all of those. And that finishes on the 1st of November. Just use the code SPOOKY30 at checkout and you'll get 30% off. So well worth a go. And as I say, if you watch this session and you think, yeah, I want some more portfolio feedback, then go ahead and use that. But I will stop using up all of our valuable time, and I will move on over to Rin, and we can get started. So this is our first portfolio, which is Naska Komamura. So thank you so much, first off, Naska. But they've said they're trying to get a role as a character artist. They're currently finding it hard to find jobs, both freelancing and full time, and they're kind of wondering what tips you can give out. Uh, so yeah, I'll let you go on. I'll post the portfolio link in the chat, and everyone else can take a look too.
All right. Perfect. Um, okay. So, it's been a while, as I said. So please forgive me if I lose the train of thought. But yeah, let's start with this one. First of all, I want to compliment just the overall look. It gives a nice idea of what you are about and what you want to do straight away. It kind of like shows off your style. It shows off your skill level, and just your like preferences in art, I guess.
Mhm.
There is a header, there is a face, which I find more and more important for myself to have, like, not the empty avatar staring at me. I don't know, maybe it's like AI trauma or something. It's good to see a person behind the art.
Yeah.
But it's just maybe my personal thing. I like that, yeah, all the information is there. You have your socials, you have this stuff that you're interested in. Just please don't forget to update it. Because sometimes people just put it like 5 years ago when they made an ArtStation account and they never change it, and then they get progressively frustrated when they get messages about work and they're like, I don't want to work with you. So yeah, that's just a sidetrack because you're currently looking, so all good. There is an email. So yeah, in terms of just the presentation, I think it's very solid representation of who you are, as I said. Looking closer at the portfolio, I I think you need to start killing things. Um, and it's like in most cases, this is what we're going to say, but especially when you're actively looking for a job, at least archive the old ones if they like if you feel sentimental about things, you can always just like not show something on the portfolio, but still keep it in
Mhm.
the access. And maybe when you find the work, you can get back to it. But like looking at these bottom like two rows, at least, I would say three, to be honest. And looking at the top row, it's a massive difference. Uh, but I used to not believe it when I was an artist myself. That sounds very sad. I still think I'm an
You
artist,
still are an
but like
artist. Yeah.
I'm an AD, so it kind of changes things. But yeah, when I was actively painting in digital and I was posting the artwork and I was like maybe in the search of work, I was like, but people who are going to be hiring me, it's good for them to see the massive progress that I did from my first pieces, right? And they will clearly see that I'm evolving. But for some reason, when you are on the other side, you're like, where are you showing this? And like, is it something that I can expect? So is this the range I can expect? So it can be like this or it can be like this, you know?
Mhm.
It just like something changes in your brain and you get super cautious about things, so just don't show something that can misguide an AD on or an HR art talent sourcer, all those people. So I would definitely say like it's also like I don't know, can you please answer, did you just post it 2 years ago or did you do it 2 years ago?
Let me see. Uh, I think they are they're struggling with their English a little bit, so they might
Oh, no
struggle for.
worries.
Oh, they did it 2 years ago.
Oh, so that's even more impressive. So if these are something that you did 2 years ago and now you are like here, so for example, I'm comparing these card backs
Hmm.
and I'm comparing it to this attempt at card backs, and I see that you improved your like rendering skills and everything quite drastically. And if it's your progress, like in a year or 2 years, it's great. But yeah, I would say these two rows, and let me continue looking. Like I think these are as well. They should go. They don't represent you anymore, even though there is like some research and everything. Um, yeah, they're just not on par with what you're doing right now.
Hmm.
They are lacking in terms of like design, construction, like rendering is very like same-ish material all over. So it just doesn't hold up, in my opinion. It also is kind of like dirty-ish in colors, and I think that is something that you improved quite a bit as well. You got like way more confident with the color use. Um, so yeah, I think like at least up to this guy you can remove things, but then like whenever you get a new artwork up there, you like get one in, get one out.
Hmm.
Here, I think things get more confident in general. So, um, yeah, yeah, like um, the options are more different and more interesting, and they have some nice like choice that you can actually make about what design to go with. I usually normally suggest not to put all the research options on one sheet. It's very tempting. because you think, oh, it's just like first sketches, nothing special. I will just dump them all and just show how many options I research without showing like a single one up close.
Hmm.
But it just gets kind of overwhelming. So either at least like spread them further from one another on the sheet, or just separate it into like 3 sheets, for example.
Hmm.
Because if you're showing it, you need to show it in a way that is like palatable for people who are going to be looking at it. Um, Not sure about the duplicate of these two. I see that you kind of added like the number of heads here, but it doesn't. Oh, there is different. Oh, I see. Yeah, there is different armor. Well, it's a bit confusing. I would put them somewhat close together, and maybe even if you're proposing like several outfits for these characters, I would just take like one character in 2 outfits or 3 outfits, second character in 2 outfits, 3 outfits. Otherwise it gets a little bit confusing, as you can see. She looks like Ripley.
Yeah, yeah, she does a bit. Yeah, I see that.
I was like, is it Ripley? I started reading the description. But yeah, this is fun. But I think how you can improve the overall quality even further. I see that you are starting differentiating the materials and all that, but it can be pushed even more. And usually, what it means, you need to let go of the highlights on everything that is not very highlighty.
Mhm.
Um, I I feel a bit bad because I don't remember whose quote it was. I think it was either Thorne or Sargent. Mm, I might be drastically mistaken, but there was a good quote that reserve the highlights for like the eyes and the jewelry.
Mhm.
Um, the rest doesn't really need them. Well, in the concept art, you probably can reserve highlights for octopuses as well, but yeah, you get the point. So like, just go more solid on the materials that ask to be more solid. For example, you will, in this case, get a nice contrast between leather boots and matte, like clothy pants, woven
Mhm.
pants. And yeah, I have an impression that yeah, you were using the reference, which is great. It is a good way to improve on your skills with character design. But I would first start with the rough anatomy underneath, because I think it was just like with the outfit together. Correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah, I would just pay more attention to the construction. Uh, yeah. I mean, it will be mostly the same uh, comments. This is a bit of an anomaly. Like, it's such a different
Mm.
style that if you want to get this kind of work, this kind of commissions, which is probably mobile games most likely, then you can keep her, I think, until you improve to the point when she is not longer um, like belonging in your portfolio. But I would just consider if this the style you want to do. And as I see only one piece like that in your portfolio, and the rest is like more kind of a lots online style, painted, like
Mhm.
rendered. Um, I would assume that it's not something that you are keen on doing, but yeah, it's definitely up to you to decide. Um, yeah, I would also, I realize, was it like for oh yeah, it was a contest, so that's why it's a bit rushed. But sometimes it makes sense to just push the rendering and the polish a
Mm.
bit before posting. So even though you entered the contest with this particular level of finish that you were able to achieve, maybe it's worth to to do some polishing, because there is like a very drastic difference between like small metal details that you paid a lot of attention to, but then the frog skin, which is kind of the main attribute of this character,
Hmm.
is a bit of an afterthought. So there is some space to work with. And also another thing that I noticed in several, I will go to like the very last pieces that you submitted and see if it improves. But you seem to be a bit shy with overall volume, with overall lighting. And I know that concept art needs to be very clean in terms of the model, like the 3D artist needs to be absolutely sure what local color of the thing is. So we're not going for dramatic lighting, but volume always describes something much better if it's like made appropriately, not just like some areas are being slightly lighter and like lighter through the white, if you know what I mean.
Hmm.
So yeah, just like a bit more general shape would benefit, not just like the internal volumes that you can see. And the overall shape is mostly is the silhouette, which is good, but it can be pushed further. Uh,
We probably have time for another minute or two on this one. We might have to.
yeah. I will try to be quick. Uh, yeah, it's a very like very local comment to this one, but there is no point in making a cleavage and not drawing the cleavage. Just if you added this, like draw them, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
dr- dr- do them justice.
yeah.
Um, yeah, let's call it that. Yeah, again, like maybe a bit rough, especially like if you're choosing uh to showcase some kind of like overall kind of presentation. Um, it makes sense to me to just push them a bit further and also be more careful with anatomy, for example, the limbs lengths. Again, for shortening, I can't say this word today, is fine, but it needs to read as one. Otherwise, it just reads as like different lengths of limbs. Um, yeah, nice grainy phoenix. Again, I would separate this exploration into several sheets, or maybe just drop the initial exploration, because those are not extremely different from one another. Most of them is like a long-tailed bird with just slightly different head. So maybe keep the heads, drop the very rough sketches, so that these, for example, could be more easily viewed. But yeah, here is way more work on the materials. There is way more difference. The colors are way cleaner than we saw in the very beginning, and even the overall lighting makes more sense. So yeah, it's a clear progress. As well as here, I think it just again brings us back to the idea of overall lighting and overall volume. It's something that will definitely um, like boost the outcome that you currently have. I hope it makes sense. If you have any questions, please let me know. Yeah, it's a bit rushed and it's a bit all over the place because it's a very limited time. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Thank you very much. And yeah, this will all be on YouTube after the stream is over. So, oh, my camera's done. There it is. After the stream is over. So, if you do want to rewatch it, just to like refresh your memory, or maybe like you didn't understand a few things because we were going quite
Mhm.
quickly, then yeah, go and rewatch it. It's gonna stay there. I'll send some links out after the stream. So,
I
cool.
assume no questions, right?
No questions that I can see. So I'll feel free to move on.
All right, let's move on. And thank you so much for the submission. And just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah,
honestly, because it's a great progress, and many of the topics you approach are very near and dear. Like I was thinking about making a concept art of the frog princess for a while now. So yeah, thank you.
awesome. Who
Moving
is
on,
next? Uh,
Ezekiel.
yeah, so it's Ezekiel Gonzalez Turner. They said they're fairly new to concept art in video games, and they want to get into character concepts specifically. Um, so yeah, if you're here in the chat, Ezekiel, say hi, and we can have a little chat. But yeah, I'll let you carry on, Rain.
All right, so um, we have another concept art account, but it's quite different with the previous one. So I think I was drawn to like slightly different approaches at the similar kind of like subject and profession. It also is quite clear on what you are doing and what to expect from you, which is great. Um, a small thing that like it's a really small thing. You have a cover image, and it also sells some of the things that a person who is going to hire you or commission you uh, is about to expect from from doing that. But I'm kind of like questioning the crop here. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's just that, because like it doesn't show, maybe it's just on my screen, but it's like awkwardly cuts several areas of the image, which just uh, drags my attention, and it shouldn't drag my attention there. I shouldn't even like uh, give two looks to the cover. I should look at it, say, nice, and move on. And also, yeah, the perspective on this hand is also very off. If you are going for the huge foreshortening, then the opening, like the sleeve opening, needs to be like really open towards the camera. Otherwise, it's like very flat like this. So yeah, I shouldn't look at the cover for so long. Okay, socials interested in contact email is present. So yeah, all good. Maybe a bit of a description won't hurt, but yeah, um, it's good otherwise. Um, right away, like I just wouldn't keep the preview like like this. It can be a cool exploration, but yeah, it just doesn't hold up to your current skill as well. Posted last year.
Hmm.
Nice progress if
Yeah.
this was done last year. But yeah, I think however cute the dummy pumpkin boss is, it just needs to go, and this sheet doesn't do much um, in terms of representing your skills, although approach is the correct one. Yeah, you are playing around with the scales and proportions and basic shapes of the elements, so that's good. But it can go now. Same with this one. I think you're better than that, and this one is just like um, burnt in places with some strange looking anatomy. Like this shoulder is really out of place. um, she's like posing weirdly, like kind of lowering her head into the shoulders too much. There is a lot of blacks in the shadows, which is something that I'm not against. Like I've
Hmm.
been taught for my whole life that blacks is like not the way to go. You need to use the color in the shadows, and in most cases, it just helps you to step over the dirty looking shadow phase in your development. But like black shadows are fine for certain styles, at least when you learn how to use them. But this one is just like a bit too much, and like the lens flares that are covering hands that you probably tried to photo bash in and didn't sit well or something. Yeah, get rid of this one as well, please. Um, uh, yeah, we are getting into the concept art territory. I think she looks better than the previous two for sure, obviously. Just again, I think she doesn't hold up to what you have later posted
Hmm.
in your portfolio. Same goes with this one. I'm not going to repeat myself too much. This one is very cute, but I think same goes for her. With this one, um, yeah, nice reference list, nice clean line work. Um, the anatomy is a bit off again, and I would just presentation-wise, I wouldn't crop it that tightly to the elements, and I would probably drop the sign because it's grabbing my attention. It's making it look less professional. Maybe it's just my thing, but
Hmm.
when I see this like jagged fallen one font, I'm mm, slightly deterred from this. Also, I just noticed there is like a tiny flower here. I would I would try to incorporate it into the design somehow, like maybe it's a crest or something,
Yeah.
because this kind of tiny detail just doesn't, like, if I wasn't looking at it for so long, like I've been during this review, I wouldn't even know it's there, and at best I would be questioning like what's the small green thingy? Is it a glitch? Maybe it's a brushstroke that was left
Hmm.
by accident. I would also be more careful and more conscious about the anatomy. For example, I think her elbows are a bit too high for her, and also again be careful with the blacks and darks in your concept art, because her arm gets completely lost on the shadowed arm on the shadowed armor. They just don't read well, and the main idea of the character art and concept art is to give an idea to those who will come after you how to work with it, how to deal with it. It would also be great if you had some callouts and if you had a back view,
Hmm.
because it's really interesting to see how these wings are being attached in the back, and how does it interact with the breastplate and all that stuff. Um, yeah.
Um,
Um,
we have
mhm.
we have one question that was a little bit earlier when you were talking about the banner,
The
uh,
banner.
or the cover photo.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Sorry,
Hmm.
I didn't know it as a banner. They just said, do you do you have to put a cover photo? I've seen a lot of artists leave it empty. So, what do you
I
prefer?
would say yes. I strongly encourage to put the cover art, because even if you go through the submissions channel in Discord, you will notice I opened every single one. I was determined to have a look at everything and got overwhelmed by the submissions. It was really damn hard to choose just like four or five, or I chose six just in case, but it was
Yeah.
an overkill anyway. Um, but you can see in even in that stream, your attention gets
Hmm.
like kind of curious about things that do have cover art, and the ones that just have this like triangle pattern from like default ArtStation pattern, uh, you don't really want to click on them. You're not that interested.
Hmm.
If you don't have like an art and a face and something that you want to click on, and it also kind of like gives the vibe you couldn't be bothered to put it. And also when there are like pages with like none of that customization, um, for some reason it also gives especially if the page is relatively empty, it gives like a bit of AI. I don't
Yeah.
know, like not a real person, maybe like a scrapper account or something. So
Yeah.
I think it's better to show your work and have all those customizable
Mm.
features customized, just to uh, at least be like memorable and noticeable.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah. Um, oh yeah, back views. Uh, Yeah, you are definitely moving like from the ones that we've seen in the right direction. Again, some of the anatomy I would more carefully study the armpit and uh, all those like deltoids and biceps, triceps areas because it just looks like a skin fold rather
Hmm.
than like you trying to show that there is a connection between the pecs and the deltoids. Um, but yeah, we're getting there. Yeah, and I went through the whole portfolio, and there is a really nice growth
Yeah.
that I can see, uh, but it all kind of like drags certain not like mistakes, but things like you prefer doing things and they don't make much sense to me. For example, I can understand that you are trying to show off different silhouettes here, but they're not different enough
Hmm.
to be just silhouettes. And they are not just like clean and chiseled enough to sell this as well. So I wouldn't just really put something like this and then you continue showing this stuff but adding some details in white. It's quite hard to read. You can show off the silhouette not in like total black, but you can do just like the normal line art on the kind of like medium gray
Yeah.
silhouette, and it will still work and it will be presented in a more readable way. And again, I would separate like the callouts on their own sheet, the faces on their own sheet, the silhouette explorations, and like the clothing explorations on their own sheet. But as I said, the final result is like it is showing a great progress. There are some design elements that I would maybe think more carefully about when you're getting like better at what you're doing.
Hmm.
It's good to kind of consider how it works because, for example, how this skirt sits on the hips on this like little blue vein that doesn't really connect to anything. So do we really need this blue vein here? Maybe if she could have like the whole like wired um, like jumpsuit or
Yeah.
something underneath, that would make more sense, that it's connecting all the powered elements because it looks like she can use this like as thrusters or something. And the skirt is more traditionally attached, like it's just tied on the waist and stuff like that. Um, there is also this element that is absolutely impossible to read. I would avoid it in the concept art because I have no idea what she's doing. Like it's like an old school phone like receiver.
Yeah.
Um, so I have no idea. I assume it's supposed to be like a weapon or something like that, but it's not clear. And I also don't. Oh, it's a boomerang. No, I would never know. Um,
Oh yeah, you
yeah,
can see it above our head now. Yeah.
yeah. So I would just keep her like here with the empty hand
Hmm.
on both views and just render it separately here, or just rethink the pose in a way that is more clear that she's not like holding the phone with no like the wireless phone of days of yore that I used to use at some point in my life. Um, oh yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there. You know, those like little things that you kind of like study and figure out how to do. I appreciate seeing this.
Hmm.
Um, Again, I wouldn't go with these like just black silhouettes on white. First of all, they just jump at you, and the contrast is really high. And yeah, they're not as clear as it would be informative, I would say.
Yeah.
So this kind of presentation is more informative. It's just not thought through enough, I would say, from the design standpoint. So I would look at more real dresses and like cool sewing um,
Yeah.
things that can be introduced in those. And I would look more at the real dresses as well, not just the screenshots from other games.
Hmm.
And I would think this through. But this approach works better, in my opinion, than these like black silhouettes on the white background. Um, yeah, so I think like as I moved from the back to the front and noticed certain things that you were doing, you were clearly noticing them,
Hmm.
which is a very good sign. And you worked on them, but I would continue working on just like basic construction, logic of the design, and anatomy.
Yeah.
uh, yeah, just to get there and be a bit more clear with your designs. So don't do the sheet just to have a sheet,
Hmm.
um, kind of do it with purpose. And if you don't really need that sheet with the silhouettes, if you didn't really use it, just don't add it. Just share whatever you really did to get to the design that you have in the end. I would say, and that's pretty much it, I guess, unless we have any questions.
No, I think we were good. I think the only question that I've seen so far was the one that we answered
Was
about
the
the cover.
cover thing?
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um, so yeah, just yeah. Thank you again to Ezekiel. If you
yeah,
do have any questions and we miss them, then we can come back to them towards the end if we have some time. But yeah, don't forget that if you do want a little bit more of an in-depth review, then you can check it out on Lunar Academy. I think Christina hopped in here earlier and dropped the link in the chat. Yeah, she did. So I will
um,
steal that and paste it in the chat again for people who might not have seen it. Um,
yeah. And the plus of the in-person reviews is just having a lot of time and
yeah.
also being able to have a dialogue, because here I'm
Hmm.
just talking whatever comes to mind, trying to squeeze it in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Uh, but it can be more kind of directed
Yeah.
in a way. Yeah, and it's not just me. It's
No.
it's also,
Come on, Rin. You
I
go.
am afraid to lie, it's also Embra, and I think
Yeah.
it's Leonie and Arthur.
Yep. That's it. Yeah.
So, yeah. But we are moving forward to Herbert.
Oh, amazing. Cool.
Uh, Yay.
Um, yeah, so Herbert is currently working as an illustrator and 2D artist and has been for the last 3 years. Well, congratulations. They're looking to go more towards a 2D generalist role. I actually wondered what your thoughts were on that, about specializing or going more generalist.
2D generalist is a bit wide to
Mm,
me, like kind of like any generalist at this point, I believe, is way wider of the specialty than it was before.
yeah.
We mentioned previously that, for example, there was a separate career choice to be a texture artist, but it's not really anymore.
Hmm.
And it kind of was torn apart, and part of it went into the like engine technical artists who work with materials, for example, in the Unreal Engine, and they
Hmm.
make sure they look nice. And it's the whole separate thing that includes like coding and whatnot. And another thing was stuck to the 3D artist career. So they are both kind of more general, and you can say someone is like a 3D generalist or something like that,
Hmm.
but more of that, more of that is being absorbed. So like 2D generalist, it can be just a more universal 2D artist that uh, probably I don't know, also can do like the technical. Well, we all technically should do it, but some are better than the other, like in just
Yeah.
prepping the files, prepping everything, optimizing files for like say 2.5D animation in the
Hmm.
future or something like that. So I would appreciate if you mention what kind of, like, what do you mean by doing 2D generalist? Is it just more versatile person? Is it like particular skill set? Is it I don't know, including like going into like matte paint area, which also inevitably includes like working with the engines and stuff like that, taking captures and beautifying them for promotional purposes? Or what exactly do
Yeah.
you mean by that? Because yeah, at this point, the borders are blurry and everything
Mm.
is, oh my god, this is a
Exactly.
ginormous portfolio.
Yeah. 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 Uh,
Yeah, very prolific. Well, um, yeah, I think it's
Actually,
so
this.
big that no one will get to the bottom really,
Yeah.
unless they're me. So
That's
yeah, I
actually
mean,
that's
mm,
actually an interesting thing because we literally just got a question come through that was, did Rin already express her opinion on how many pieces you should show on your portfolio?
um, you don't need many. But I would say it's I usually used to say that it's like if it's five, but like those are your
Yeah.
kind of actual ones, it's enough. But I think it got simplified into five are just fine,
Mhm.
and those are just whatever you had to post. And there were several portfolios that I saw in submissions and I skipped them because I wasn't sure there is much to talk in them about, because they had like five, but the difference in skill and style
Mhm.
was so different that this is like reviewing several portfolios, and like
Yeah.
every piece is kind of like in the beginner level, but they're all different. So it's not quite clear what person is trying to do, and it's totally fine to be in the search phase, right? But there
Mhm.
is no point on doing the portfolio review on someone who is actively like soul searching, style searching, you know. So for example, with in this case, if I saw like these five, like the top five
Mhm.
pieces, it would be enough for me to get the idea that the about the person's skill and about the person's like affinity to like uh, card games illustrations, like semi stylized, semi realistic stuff, and it will be enough for me to make a judgment call. um, but in case, like if for example there were like this guy, this buggy concept art, then it was the, well, this row, let's say just this row, the second row of the portfolio that is on my screen.
Yeah.
um I would be not so sure, because I would see this one, okay, this is a really nice illustration, some really cool process. I can again gauge the skill. Then I see some kind of like experimental sword timber concept art that are like in slightly different style, and they're also like concept arty uh, things. Then there is this painterly landscape that might be just like a personal piece or something.
Mhm.
And then I get to the bug, who is pretty cool and feels like there was a heavy inspiration from Jaemin Kim. Sorry if I'm butchering their name. Uh, I would be like, yeah, this guy clearly knows how to draw. He has like good fundamentals. I have no idea what like he wants to do.
Yeah.
And I would be, can I see more? And can I just get a glimpse on what are the latest pieces? What is the preference? What basically?
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and like the whole portfolio, there is a good sense of that. Um, Maybe you are kind of on the track to be that 2D generalist because you do literally everything. So we have like the sketch, the rendered piece. Uh, we have some drawn D&D characters. Then there is an illustration of an adorable frog,
Yeah, I love that.
which was done in 2022, and I think it's adorable, but it doesn't hold up to the latest pieces again. So
Mm.
I think if you wanted to reduce the amount of um, work in your portfolio and show only the best, you are in the best possible place to do that, because with this body of work you can be as picky as you like. And if you do so, I think it will it will be kind of a gem of a portfolio
Mm.
that be very, very hireable. Good presentation, like good sketches, um, nice to see how it looks in game. So yeah, this kind of presentation is great. And yeah, I love that I see a lot of just solid foundation that is
Hmm.
behind. Um, so yeah, it's really cool. I love this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alex. Oh,
Yeah.
Alex A is in the chat, and he says, "I think by generalist he means I want to fit every possible project that needs a 2D
Yeah,
artist." Yeah.
that's what I'm getting from the portfolio, and I think it kind of works, but also, I mean, with this kind of like level of, again, fundamentals and just understanding of how things are done, you can hone your skills and like polish them so much in like slightly less of the directions.
Hmm.
That would be my instinct. Yeah, but you do you, because you are clearly doing something right, because your portfolio looks very interesting to browse through.
Mm.
Uh, although it might be a bit confusing in terms of preferences, and I would say some pieces are aging uh, better than other. So um, from the like AD, from the person who is looking through the portfolios and who is hiring, I would suggest to kind of like halve it, and it will still be a massive portfolio. So there is like total of 60. It's safe to go like down to 30 or even
Mm.
20 and get rid of some not exactly like stellar work.
Yeah.
I guess it's a sentimental thing 10 years ago, but yeah, just let him rest maybe. But I wouldn't just go with this portfolio. I wouldn't go just like, keep everything until this point and then throw everything away, because there are things that can look still cool and hold up to things. Like there are some really cute um, concept art things, but then there is a frog that is also very cute, but she just doesn't hold up to the quality. And this guy, he's fun as a concept, but as an illustration, it's already a bit meh, especially
Hmm.
especially in comparison with the newer work. Um, yeah. So it's more of just picking and choosing, and I've never seen like, I guess, the portfolio in my life that is so promising for this picking and choosing, and so comfortable to do so. i would
Yeah.
i would say, like, you can cherry pick the hell out of it. um, and for specialization, I think if you keep like in this area of kind of like semi-realistic, semi-stylized skills with uh, character and creature art and also some illustration, it's a relatively normal combo to have.
Hmm.
So I don't see anything wrong with that one. Um, but maybe just some specialization would be good, because at least from the experience with our studio and with other outsourced studios, um, it's normal now to have people to be very good at certain things rather than be uh, just good at many things.
Yeah.
It's good to have some degree of flexibility, but everything is good in moderation.
Hmm.
That is at least how I feel and how I see things in the industry right now. So yeah. Otherwise, I think it's a really cool, strong portfolio. You are flexing so many different muscles. Uh, some of them are flexing in a more impressive way. Some of them are more experimental in nature. So yeah, I think it's a really nice and solid one. Like nice header, which also like took some effort to get all those pictures, and
Hmm.
that there was some cherry picking involved. Um, yeah, there is all the information you need. Um, yeah, the previews also look nice. Maybe it's a bit odd choice in how you're framing the weapon ones, because they just look like the automatic crop um, from the R station. But this is again, it's just nitpicking. Like, will I be? Oh no, I'm not gonna look at this portfolio because the crop of this axis is awkward. No.
No, yeah.
So yeah, just like for consistency purposes, you can address that,
Hmm.
or you can disregard that. But yeah, in like my general, like my main impression about this portfolio, it's a huge opportunity to just brush it to perfection. Like, just have all the best work you think you have, and all the previews just like, in a shiny row, all the ducks in a row,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's my verdict.
Oh, amazing. Well, uh, if you have any questions, I think I saw you in the chat earlier, Herbert. So if you have any questions, then feel free to ask away, and we'll see what we can do. But if not, then we'll move on. We're running out of time.
Yep. Who was talking about the records today?
Yeah.
Not me, not me.
No, that's
um
okay. That's fine. We normally only manage to get through maybe four, so
all
uh,
right, I probably can do 4.
yeah, that's okay. So yeah, I haven't seen any questions come in, so we can hop over to the next one, which is
Sveta,
Sveta's.
yeah.
Yeah. So Sveta, if you're here, then feel free to say hi. Same as before. Um, hey, yes, I'm here. Amazing. Welcome. Uh, So they said they've got some experience working in the games industry, but they're looking to move more into the illustration and splash art uh,
Mhm.
sectors. So any tips would be appreciated. So
All right. First of all, like, when you open this page and it gives you a flower,
yeah, it's so cute.
I'm sold. I'm sold. So yeah, this is really cute. All the information to contact
Hmm.
you about the full-time employment is here. And this presentation, just like the cover art, the avatar, and the top rows of the portfolio, they clearly show like what you're about, and like certain amount of Ranji reference is
Hmm.
inspiration, and it's a massive portfolio as well. So this one also, like, it's pretty consistent in style. It's not like, it's almost not experimental. There are some pieces that kind of stand out a bit, but it's very solid in terms of what you want to do. I would say that with this kind of portfolios, I get the sense that employment is a bit more tricky rather than like just personal art,
Hmm.
Patreon, and stuff like that. Because this is the recognizable style that people usually gravitate to. And if they gravitate to, they want to keep seeing kind of the same-ish stuff.
Yeah.
And it's very, I think, sellable in that sense. Uh, there is a huge improvement in skill throughout the portfolio. So if you want to drop the bottoms as all the previous portfolios, yeah, it won't hurt in terms of hireability. But yeah, it's
Wow.
pretty much like these are really, like, these images, they know what they are and what
Hmm.
they're doing, and the person Speta is just, yeah, this is me. This is what I like. This is what, like, these are people who I admire and I learned from them, but I also have my own like take
Hmm.
palette and whatnot, and it just screams. um I think it can be hireable in the illustration industry. I'm not sure it's that hireable in like game industry, for example,
Hmm.
because it's usually like in game industry you need to be able to bend your style. So it's either a perfect match of an artist and the project, or it's a like very nice base uh, to have just your own thing. Like these are so fun.
Yeah, I like them.
Um, yeah,
3D stuff.
maybe some of them could again use just a bit more of the general lighting and a bit more contrast here and there, because in some the balance is like really good and the volume just reads like "Meh."
Mm.
And in some it's a bit less obvious and less juicy, and like the juiciest part can be in the very like bottom corner. um, I would maybe like to avoid that, but also, yeah, I think these are great as a set. Um, oh, it's also painted in Sai. Interesting.
Really nice. It's so soft.
Yeah, yeah, they're like very soft, and normally, for example, like if it was like a card illustration, I would I would be, yeah, we need to make a clear silhouette, we need to make sure the face pops off, but it's just a piece in itself that
Yeah.
someone would definitely like to hang on their wall. So I don't know if it's worth breaking yourself into being more malleable
Mm.
and more available for like different styles and everything. Like the colors in this one are really beautiful. I just really like with this kind of portfolio. I just want to see what the person is doing rather than critiquing them.
Yeah.
And it's again a part of that. You have your appeal as an artist,
Hmm.
and some industries are just not great for the well-being of artists.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of like um, they force you to do things differently,
Hmm.
and um, it can lead to kind of forgetting what you wanted to do in the first place and why you wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, oh, this is really cute.
Oh, nice.
Oh no, there is some mental problems.
That's not nice at all. I changed my mind. I changed my mind.
Are we going to have a happy ending? Yeah, we have
Oh,
some bandages, so all good.
yeah. I think you could
Yes.
see in
Mm.
if you go back a few, there was that guy who was chasing after some ducks
Oh, this one.
or some goslings. Yeah. I think you can see that there maybe you were trying to go into the splash arts, like that was like a first foray into splash art.
Yeah, but it's not a splash art in a good sense.
No, I feel like it's more like it reminds me of a League of Legends sort of splash art sort of thing, like a skin.
Yeah, but I would say if it was like a League of Legends art, it would be, yeah, let's get this giant uh, closer to the camera.
Yeah.
Let's go with like more sharp edges. And this is
Mm.
just like, those are things that definitely would be raised if it was like the, for example, game illustration.
Oh, for sure.
Um,
Yeah.
like a splash art, there will be like all over the place. Let's go over the materials
Mm.
in a less like dreamy way. Let's like go with more sharp edges, with more like uh, impactfully placed contrast and stuff like that. It doesn't mean you can't do it. If you want to give it a go, then just um, try to reference like the actual kind of illustration. For example,
Hmm.
the like splashes from League of Legends, and see if your style bends there, and if you can pick up less of a painterly, more of the this like shiny kind of marketingy approach. If you want to do the illustration in terms of like more um, people come to you because of your style and they order a cover of the like book or something,
Hmm.
that definitely can happen, but I can't really give any tips because I'm not in that industry. So I'm not sure about comings and goings in that industry, but I can definitely see that, and that might be more forgiving in terms of style, in terms of like this personality shining through everything
Hmm.
that you do, rather than bending it to the like industry rules.
Yeah, that's what Alex just said. Really, he said if you want his opinion from a lead 2D artist, you need to be close, or you seem to be close to becoming a very cool artist. Keep at it instead
Yeah,
of bending to the
yeah.
industry.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's literally my feeling. Like I
Hmm.
really don't want to say anything about like how to get it closer to like splash art or whatnot,
Mm,
because there are so many splash arts from people who are really good at what they're doing, and they they chose to go this route when they can bend their style there.
yeah.
But it's a choice, and I don't want to impose that choice in this
Hmm.
situation. So that is a very interesting portfolio in that sense. um, and I don't think it was a very useful portfolio review, but this is just my kind of like feeling about it.
Yeah.
Uh, I just want to see what happens next, and I think it's kind of the situation when people end up um, doing their Patreon, they
Yeah.
then like have their like exhibition at some like digital art friendly gallery, like
Hmm.
Gallery Nucleus or something. Um, yeah.
Yeah. I think I recognize that most recent piece as well. I think Arthur might have looked at it for an art critique
Mm.
like a month ago or something.
Which one was that?
The first one on there.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And I think even when he was looking at it, he was like, "This is it's amazing." Like he's like, "There's not a
Yeah.
lot. Like there wasn't a lot that he really
Yeah.
could
I
say
mean,
about it."
like I can, if there was like a particular style
Mm,
that we want to like bring this piece to, there might be a critique
yeah.
to have, because this is mostly how it works in the industry as well.
Mm,
We're not critiquing the pieces just as pieces,
yeah.
usually. Uh, but I really don't want to.
Yeah.
Like, even if someone told me that it's going to be like, yeah, it's a League of Legends fan art, but let it be the fan art in the style of this artist, and
This
just like
artist, yeah.
don't touch her.
Hmm.
Leave her be. Leave her do her thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no,
sorry.
it's one of well they've said thank you. Maybe I'll try and do a few illustrations for certain games, but it's very interesting to see you take a look at my portfolio. Thank you so much. Um, so
Thank you. It's
yeah,
it's it's really beautiful.
yeah, it really
And
is.
yeah, I wish you good luck,
Yeah.
and I wish you not to lose yourself. Whatever you choose.
Well, I think that's probably all the time we've got for today.
Oh no, I
So
had two more.
yeah, I know. I'm so sorry. But
Um,
I think that's all
wow.
we've got. So we will
That's a
probably
beautiful note
call
to,
it
to
there.
wrap on.
It really was. Yeah, I think it was a nice closing moment. So
Yeah.
I think it's fine. Um, so just before we finish off, I will just take one last opportunity to plug the Lunar Academy sale because it's not on for much longer. Finishes on the 1st. Um, don't forget you can use code Spooky30 at the checkout to get 30% off a portfolio review. So if you would like Rin to take a look at your portfolio or another member of the Moon Colony staff, then take a look at the website and get some money off, get it booked in. But Rin, you mentioned a little bit earlier sort of some of the benefits to having a longer portfolio review, but do you mind like
Oh yeah,
mentioning them
sure.
again?
So clearly these are very fast, and they're based only on the short description that you guys provide,
Hmm.
and it's also a lottery, as Jaden mentioned
Yeah.
previously. Uh, but if you really think that you can benefit from a very like targeted portfolio review and very just precise conversation, which is an hour long, where we can talk about anything, from like what next steps you are thinking about taking and how to approach it, or talking about particular pieces that like bother you in some way and you want to discuss how to improve them, or anything of that nature, uh, that can be talked about during that
Mm.
hour. So yeah, it's just more precise. Um, yeah, and as I said, it's not necessarily me; it's other
Yeah.
three amazing guys from One Colony.
Yeah. There's videos of them on YouTube doing their portfolio reviews, so you can see their
As well, yeah,
styles
yeah,
of how they give
yeah,
feedback as well.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's amazing. Uh, oh, I've just got a message from Herbert. They said thank you so much for the review. When I said about being a 2D generalist in terms of style, pretty much like Alex A, who works on Diablo and World of Warcraft at the same time. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
uh, yeah. I'll drop a link in the chat to the Lunar Academy stuff. There you go.
yeah. Well, that is that
Mm.
is fine. That is normal.
Mhm.
So nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You just occupy the, like, there is a gradient of all the styles in the world, starting with, like, if we're talking about the game world, starting with like very simplified mobile games and ending up with yeah, like Diablo-esque stuff, for
Yeah.
example, or like Warhammer key art pieces that can be painted in the cathedral and no one will notice that something is wrong with that. Um, so yeah, in this spectrum, I would just suggest not to go the whole spectrum or just like pick pieces in
Hmm.
in different parts of it, but just like choose the area where you are comfortable and sort of true to yourself, and as well as that you in this area can really polish your skills.
Hmm.
But it's fine to have not just like the dot on the spectrum, but it's fine to get like the part of it,
Yeah.
uh, if it makes sense.
Yeah. No, I think that makes sense. But yeah, thank you so much. I think that's gonna have to be it for today. But thank you, Rin, for taking some time out and doing this for us. It's much appreciated. Thank you, everybody in the chat for watching along. I'm sure you all learned some valuable information. And thank you for submitting your portfolios as well. I know it can be a little bit scary to throw your portfolio out there. So
I-
we really appreciate it, and it means we get to see some really nice artwork from doing these two. So yeah, that's it from us this week. We'll be back on Monday with a little bit of Inktober stuff. So come along to that. But have a wonderful weekend, everybody, and we will see you next time. Bye bye.
Bye.